dear ones. It's Maria with you again. Today is April 19th, 2022, and today I'd like to explain the map of consciousness to you. The map of consciousness was developed by the Dr. David Hawkins. But first, I'd like to give you a little summary that I always do in my videos. It's like that. We were created by God, like Himself, we know that. We are part of God's consciousness. We are a beautiful thought in the mind of God. But only part of our body come and incarnate here on earth. The remain stays with God and has the knowledge of everything. Knows everything that God knows. It knows our purpose here, and it's always trying to guide us to the best next step towards our purpose. And that guidance is done through our emotional guidance system, our emotions and feelings. That's how everything starts. Our emotions, it's what creates everything we perceive around us. Our emotions create our reality, the reality we perceive around us. And our emotions are based in our thoughts and beliefs. And what Dr. Hawkins did, he did a lot of studies, and he found out that depending on what type of thoughts you have a different vibration. And thoughts that are more in alignment with love has a higher vibration. Thoughts that are not in alignment with love have a lower vibration. That's what I'm going to explain today. And also, I make videos in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. So if you see lots of videos in Portuguese coming up, don't worry, you are not in the wrong place. I put the link for the playlist of all the videos in English on the description of this video. So you can easily find all the videos that I made in English. I have a presentation to show you. So I'll just decrease a little bit my screen. And show. The map of consciousness is very complex, and I'm reading a book written by David Hawkins that he correlates many things that are happening with our life, behaviors that we have, and he's kind of linking and explaining using the map of consciousness. So there is a lot to talk about that. For that, I'm gonna create a series of videos about the map of consciousness. This one is just the first one. So I'm not gonna show everything that's in this slide because some is already for the next video. Okay, we can go to the next page. So he said that we, as a human, the lowest vibration that we perceive is 20. Because our thoughts, emotions are what really keep our body alive. If you're vibrating under 20, you are close to the end, or it's already finished. So the lowest that we can perceive and hold for some time is 20. And starting on 200, 200 is a breakthrough from the negativity. When you get to 200, that's courage, you started to realize that you are not alone, that there is a higher force that can guide you, that you can count with, that things doesn't just happen by accident or by chance. So the connection with God, you start to perceive you have a stronger connection to all it is. And most of the, actually this one was, I think this book was written in 2014, I'm not really sure, but it was a while ago. I don't think that we are still in this percentage where 85% of the human population are vibrating under 200 and only 15% is vibrating over 1500. The reason why I think this number is higher now, first, is because a lot of kids starting in the year 2000, they start coming with more wisdom and more light and holding higher vibrations. That's one of the reasons. And many people that were vibrating here, they increased their vibration. Especially the last 2 years of this pandemic, the last 2 years, a lot of people that were here just living their daily life in a hurry and just getting home exhausted and threw themselves in the couch in front of the TV. That pattern was broken. And for a long time, since a long time, they started to have time to think about things that they never think about. And then they realized that their actions, their thoughts was not really in alignment with what they wanted to create. And they started to go within and really try to find out who they really are. So many people that were here, they rose their vibration. Many people that were coming maybe from 350 or in the lower, many dropped to 100 because the fear base that was really pop in our head 24/7 through the mass media and everybody else always talking, you have to be afraid, so there you go, many people fall in 100. But in counterpart, many people started to look into themselves, really start to take control of their thoughts and their life. And I think there was a big jump from here to the higher vibrations. So I don't think this number is still accurate right now. And this number will just rise because that's the time for people really to reconnect to love, reconnect to their true nature, that's love. So there you go. That's the map of consciousness. He broke up in some groups for each level. For example, I'm going to start from the bottom up, 200. This one is God's view, is more like how you perceive God. How you perceive God. Or yourself related to God. When you are vibrating 200, you perceive God as despising. And how you view life. You feel miserable. You feel hopeless, you feel miserable, you don't really want to be alive at this time. I put a mark here between 50, from 50 down, because the person that's vibrating in 50, from 50 down, that's when the suicidal thoughts start to come. And that's really a danger place to be. So people that are vibrating on those lower frequencies, they really need help. It's very important that they get help to be able to rise their vibration if they decided they want to remain in their physical body. So this is the level. The level is shame. It's a lot of shame. They feel shame for themselves. They don't really realize how they got there. And the emotion then that they have is humiliation. And the process is elimination. So one thing that I notice here, for example, from the lower vibration, when you are in 175, the process is always pull you down. For example, from 20 is elimination, you are very close to the end. 30, destruction. So it's always pulling to the next level. But when you go to 200, it's always pulling you to the higher level. I could put like an arrow pushing down here and another setting up. That's something very interesting that I noticed. And then you have 30, vindictive. Sorry, I should have researched this. I'm not sure exactly what that means. But you see life as evil, as a danger place. And the level is guilt. You feel guilt most of the time. The emotion is blame. You blame yourself and you also blame others. And the process is still towards destruction. And then you have 50, that's, you see God as condemning. It's like you feel condemned by God. It's like God is condemning you for something that I did or that I think I didn't did, but I'm being condemned. And you see life as hopeless. You don't have any hope. You don't really care anymore. And the level is apathy. Apathy is when you disconnect from emotions. You disconnect your compassion. You decided that you don't want to feel. Because every time that you allow yourself to feel something is too painful. So you don't want to feel. You just disconnect from any type of emotion. And the emotion you have is despair. Because you are blocking all the other emotions, but then you feel hopeless and you feel despair. And the process is abdiction. And then you have 75, grief. That grief, there is the grief for a loss of a loved one, but it can also be a grief for a loss of anything that you feel dear to you. And the way you feel, you see God is disdainful. It's like he doesn't care about you. He doesn't care how come he took your loved one away, or how come he took the thing that you were holding on so dearly. And then you see life as tragic. You say, that's a tragic, and I don't know what to do from here. You feel stuck. And the level is grief. The emotion is regret. You wish you have done something different not to lose that. If it's a loved one, you wish you could have done something different. You wish you have done things different for the person, said things to the person when they were here. Or you also feel regret, but not only for yourself. It's, if I should not have had, for example, a person got in an accident, or I should have convinced the person to stay home, or so the mind is around regret. The emotion is around regret. And the process is despondency. I made a video about overcoming the fear of death, and also another one from grief to peace of mind. It's really worth to see. When you lose a loved one or something that you care about, it's just human to feel grief. And it's important that you experience that emotion and work that emotion out and really let it go. Because if you just avoid, it will be hidden and will come up later, even with more strength. So it's important that you live that through. But the problem is when you hold for too long. After you did all your critical things here and everything, you release your emotion. You don't want to keep yourself in victimhood, in blaming others and yourself. Because when you keep yourself on those lower vibrations, it will just get yourself even lower. So many people from 75 from grief, they really fall in apathy and guilt and shame, and many just leave. And the next level is 100, fear. That fear is not the fear of it's not the fear that you feel when you are in front of a lion. You're suddenly in front of a lion, your adrenaline kicks in, and then your ego mind tell you what to do. That's what your ego mind was designed for, to keep your body alive. It will give you a quick response if you have a real danger in front of you. But this fear that we are talking here is false evidence appearing real. Is the fear of something that's happening only in your mind, only in your thoughts. It's not happening. And if you didn't focus on them with this negative thought, it probably would never happen. But because of the law of attraction, because you create with your emotions, I made another video on how to create your own reality. It's explain how you create with your emotions. So you are in fear, you are constantly holding a thought of fear about something happen. And then you are holding that fear, you are visualizing that thing to happen, you are sending out the emotion, and then the thing happen, and then you say, oh, I was right to fear that. You see, now it's happened. But if you had just took your mind away from that and tried to do things that was more in alignment with love, and then it would not even happen. So the fear, the way you see God is punitive. It's like God is punishing you. And you see life as frightening. You don't feel powerful, you feel frightening. And the level is fear. false evidence appearing real. There are two types of fear. The fear that's a natural response when your life is in danger. That's important. And false evidence appearing real. That's the one that you want to get away from. Well, the other fear you want to resolve too, but you don't want to keep your mind around that fear, false evidence appearing real. Because the emotion you're going to have is anxiety. When you get anxiety and then you're not really breathing properly, and then you start to get sick, and then it's just a pushing down to other lower vibrations. And the process is withdrawal. You want to keep yourself safe. You want to stay close. You don't want to go out and experience and have contact with other people. You want to stay inside the house. You want to feel protected. And then the next one is 125, desire. The desire is also something that has two types of desire. Okay, but let me explain first. When you desire 125, you view God as denying, because you desire something that you don't have. Because if you already have, you are just experience having the thing. You are desiring because you want but you don't have. And you feel life as disappointing. You wish to be different, but it's disappointing. You are disappointed. And then the level is desire, and they explain that there are a positive desire and a negative desire. And the emotion is craving, and the process is enslavement. So the desire is connected to addiction and enslavement. That's the bad desire. And usually that desire, when you abide to those desires, that's more like addiction, it has consequence. It gives you a temporary pleasure, but first, it doesn't last long, and second, it has consequences. So it's push you even down to other vibrations. So that's the kind of desire that you don't want to feed. But that's, if you are vibrating in fear and then you have a desire, that's already a positive thing, because you're going up the ladder. But a positive desire, for example, you get an inspiration, you get you get the desire to do something, and then you follow that. That's probably your guides inspire you to do something that is good for you, that you're gonna feel in life, that you're gonna feel inspired to move on the ladder. And that can be anything. Sometimes you are just, I have the desire to cook a good meal to my family, or invite some friends to dinner. So that desire is something that is inspire you to bring you some happiness, and there will be no bad consequence later. Well, there will be some dirty dishes, but anyway, and there are other desires that are good, and you desire that it's aligned with love. That's the thing. The level is desire, but the intention behind, the intention can be uh, I mean, the intention can be inspired by love. The intention can be something, a thought and a feeling based on love, or in addiction. So you're gonna know when you have a good desire and a bad desire. So the next one is 150, anger. And then you see, oh, but somebody, why you are so angry? Why are you so angry? If you are come from shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, and you get angry, you feel alive. So when you are come down from here and you feel angry, you're moving up the ladder. So that's a really good thing to feel anger if you are coming from here. And I made another video on how to get away from depression. And I explain about how to go up the ladder and get away from depression. Because when you are in depression, you are sure having thoughts, feeding those kinds of thoughts here. So, and then when you feel angry, you are moving up the ladder, so that's a good thing. But the thing is, you don't want to stay in anger for too long. First, it will be really hard to other people to stay close to you. And second, it's not really a feeling that you want to hold for a long time, because it will really drain you down. And sometimes when you feel anger, it's important to release that anger. Not only try to suppress all strong emotion that you have. It's important that you release, you find a way to release, not only to suppress, because if you suppress, you'll be hidden and you'll come back later. You want to let it go. If you are in a position that you feel angry, you are able to pull yourself away from the anger and just observe. I'm feeling very angry. Why am I feeling angry? Oh, she just said she can't go for lunch tomorrow. Why is that? So you find the way behind, the reason behind it. A very good thing is, if you are feeling very angry, just do 4-3 deep breathing. You inspire for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and then release through your mouth and release and just letting everything go. It's kind of like that. And then you let it go. Do that for 3-4 times. If it's still really angry, take a little break and do it again. It will help. Most of the time, will help. So, how you view God when you are in anger? You feel as vengeful, and you view life as antagonistic. The level is anger, and the emotion is hate. Depends on who you are angry against. It can be, sometimes you feel hate about yourself, you hate others, you hate the process, you hate everything. That's the emotion. And the process is aggression. Because when you feel angry and you are not really able to control your emotions, you go to aggression. So when I say let it go, work through the anger, I'm not saying go punch everybody that you see in your front. And there are other ways to release the anger. One is by breathing, other just go for a walk, or I don't know, you figure it out what works best for you. I'm sure YouTube will have some videos giving some ideas how to release your anger. But if you understand the reason behind, because all emotions that we have are based in a thought or belief. It just didn't appear from nowhere. It's based on a thought and belief that we hold. If you can identify, and then you can put some light on, and then just dissipate. So the next level is pride, 175. Again, there are two types of pride. I'm going to explain in a minute. The way you see God is indifferent, and the life view is demanding, because you think you need to do the best and everybody else needs to understand and agree that you are the best. So the level is pride, and the emotion is scorn. Not sure exactly what is that. And the process is inflation. So there is the bad pride and the good pride. In name of pride, humans has killed, has stolen, has done terrible things against themselves and against others in name of pride. So, but if you are feeling, if you are coming from shame, guilt, apathy, and then you get a pride, that's a good place to go to. But just don't stay there too long. And the next level is courage. So it's like the breakthrough. And also, when there are, as I said, there is two kinds of pride. One pride is more like viewing a selfish way. You are the best. And there are even some pride that the people, it's like, it's emphasize separation. Some are pride of themselves, it's like only for self. Some already put the pride in a branch and expand a little bit to their family and then to their country. So, but and then there are another type of pride that you feel good when you see somebody else excelling. Say, I'm so proud of you, my son, because you did something, accomplished something good. So that's the other type of pride. Or even for yourself, when you are, let's say you are an athlete and you get a medal, and then you feel so much pride, but you feel that pride. In some cases you can do only for themselves, but that pride, you feel pride because you accomplished something for all your team that work with you, that help you to accomplish that, and you did that also in the name of your country. So the difference is always the feeling, the emotion behind it, the thought and the emotion behind it. The feeling and the thought behind the emotion, it's what really determines if it's good or bad. Just like the fear, well, even the one if you are in a real danger is still both bad, but at least it's useful if it's a real threat. But about the desire and the pride, it can be good or bad, but even the bad one, if you are coming from the lower vibration, it's already good to have. But the way you identify if your desire or your pride is good is based on the thoughts and feelings, your thoughts and feelings behind the emotion. And then we got to 200. you see God as permitting. God is giving you the chance. It's like I said before, it's the first time you really perceive that there is another force beyond yourself. And then life feel feasible. You start to see more possibilities that things can work out. And then you have the level is courage. You feel you can do anything. The emotion is affirmations, a positive thinking, and the process is empowerment. You know that you can do it. You don't depend on the goodwill of somebody else. You can do it. So that's really a breakthrough in our consciousness. When you cross that bridge from pride to courage, it's like win an Oscar or get gold medal in Olympics. And then the next one is neutrality. And then you have the way you see God is enabling. God is allowing you to do things. And you see life as satisfactory. You feel good. You feel you have everything that you need to succeed, to be happy. And the level is neutrality. The emotion is trust. You started trust. You trust in the process. You trust in yourself. You trust in God. And the process is release. You start to release all the bad emotions that no longer serve you. Actually, every time before I go to bed, I talk to Jesus and I, dear Jesus, release and take away from me all thoughts and beliefs that no longer serve me. He will do if you ask. He cannot do if you don't ask, because the free will. So it's yours to keep if you want to. And what I used to say that neutrality is like, in the math, when you have the point 0 and then going up is 1, 2, 3 and infinite, and then going down is 0 and then -1, -2 to infinite. So the neutrality is the point 0 here. However, I would even feel more comfortable to put the point 0 in courage, because that's really the breakthrough. Courage. And from neutrality is a really good place to be. You will stop judging when you are in neutrality. Trust is really important, because when you feel trust, you release a great stress from your mind. Because when you are vibrating here, wanting to control the outcomes of everything, what others think of you, it's just too draining, it's too tiring. So trust is it's a really good emotion to have. And the next one is 310, willingness. And then you have here, you got the courage, you start trusting, and then you get optimist. Okay, I know I can do it, and now you're gonna do it. I wanna do it, I wanna start to do it now. So you are willing to do what you think is the best for you. And then you view God as inspiring. Inspiration comes from spirit. when I say spirit, I'm not just talking about ghosts. I'm talking about the non-physical. I'm talking about God. I'm talking about Jesus. I'm talking about the spirit guides, all the angels, all that team that is in the other side that cares so much about us, that you do everything they can to help us if you allow. And that's through inspiration. They do through inspiration, because if you have a problem and then you pray for Jesus, dear Jesus, help me with this problem, show me the solution, tell me the answer, and then if Jesus just materialize in front of you and say, I'm Jesus and here is the answer, oh my goodness, you're gonna freak out. You don't want that. So you want him to inspire you, to whisper in your ear with your one voice, with your one voice. You're gonna even think it's coming from you. And then you think, oh, why I didn't think of that before? I'm so smart. Actually, it was Jesus give you the answer because you asked for. But that's okay. You can take the you can think it's yours. He doesn't care. And then the way you view life is hopeful. You have hope for the present, the future. You think everything will work out just fine. And then the emotion is optimist, and the process is intention. That's a really, really good place to be. But you can always go up in the ladder, and then you have 350. 350, you view God as merciful, and you view life as harmonious. You see how everything is connected to each other, and there is a harmony between everything, the humans, the animals, the plants, the planet, how everything works together for the good of all. And the level is acceptance. You accept what it is. You stop complaining that it's too sunny, too hot, too cold, too this, too that. You do the best with what you have. And the emotional is forgiveness. That's when salvation really starts. You accept people what they are. You accept yourself as you are. And you forgive yourself, and you forgive others, and you forgive God, you forgive everything. And then the process is transcendency. You see? It's always pushing up now to the next level. And then you have 400. You see God as wise. You feel life as meaningful. You understand the meaning of things, the meaning behind it. You started to be a thinker. And the level is reason. And then the emotion is understanding. You have understanding about why things happen, why people do things the way they do. And the process is abstraction. Reason is so close to love. Many people stay here for a long time. They delay to cross the bridge to love, because especially if they come from here and then they get to reason and they are smart, and then if they still too much focus on the physical, they are smart, and then they start to accumulate, to think about physical things. They put the physical things in front of the non-physical. What I'm saying is, it's okay to get physical abundance to your life, that's in alignment with love. The use you do with that, that's the one that is not. But it's okay to do that. The bad thing is if you get too worried about keep your possessions, and then you're gonna go back here to fear, the fear of lose the things that you got. But that's a really good position to be. Oops, got tired. The next one is 500, love. You feel God is loving. He loves you. You feel loved by God. And you feel life as benign. It's like life is good. And the level is love. The emotion is reverence. And the process is revelation. You start to understand the truth of who you are, what you are doing here, where you came from. And then the next level is joy. And then you feel God as one. You feel life as complete. The emotion is serenity. You just are. And the process is transfiguration. So you are really purging all the bad emotions. You are shedding a light in all the bad emotions. And then the next one is 600, peace. And you view God as all being, life is perfect, the love is peace, the emotion is bliss. You just feel good about everything. And the process is illumination. So it's pulling up to the next level. That's from 700 to 1000. It's pure consciousness, enlightenment. And you see God as self. You understand that you are part of God's consciousness. You merge your consciousness back to God's consciousness. So you feel God as self. And life just is. The emotion is ineffable, and the process is pure consciousness. That's what happened with Jesus after the baptism when he got enlightened. But Jesus, in that life that he came as Jesus, he didn't need to go through all those levels, because he came, his life was designed to come in a physical body that was already prepared. The preparation started with his grandmother, and mother of Mary. So she prepared herself to be able to give a birth to Mary, and Mary birthed with a lot of light in her body, with connected, remember who she was, that she was one with God. And then through Mary, Jesus was able to come with a lot of light and remember who he was. So he didn't need to go through all of that. And he was born vibrating in 1000 and lived vibrating 1000 and decided to go back to the pure consciousness, vibrating 1000. 1000, they say that's the highest the human being can perceive in the physical body on earth. So that's the explanation about the map of consciousness. if you see everything, we really create everything we perceive around us through our thoughts and emotions. Everything, all emotion that you have is based in what you think. And that's the trick part. It's also based on the beliefs you hold. And many times those beliefs are hidden in your subconscious. And you get so angry about something that you don't even know the reason. It wasn't a thought that you just had, it's a belief that is there. But my next video I will talk about why and how to manage your thoughts. And there will be more videos about the map of consciousness. But I think I need to do some homework first, finish 2 books that I started to read, and I'll put something together, because my idea is to give you guys a better summary of everything that I'm learning, and also give you the reference so you can go and do your study yourself, just like I'm doing. And you don't need to believe in everything that I'm saying. I'm just saying, I'm just doing the way I perceive things, you understand. And it's helping me, and it may help you too. That's why I'm doing that. So if you resonate with the things that I'm talking about, if you think it's helping you, help me to share this information with as many people as possible. Your like in YouTube really matter, because if you push a like, YouTube will show to more people, and it might mean 1, 10 or 100 people that will see my video just because you push a like. So please share and subscribe if you're haven't done yet, and leave your comments and questions if you have any. And let's go back here to the presentation. Okay, so that was my presentation for today. Much love and light to you. It took almost 1 hour. And I do love each one of you. Much love and light to you, dear ones.